In this video, I'll show you how to add a circular pattern of holes onto the pulley, and also how to put the notation on that on your drawing sheet. So what I'll do is start a new sketch on this surface here. And we want to pay attention to the orientation and location of that. So the first thing I'll do is put a circle, and it's going to be a construction circle actually. Draw your circle first, and that's going to be, it's called the bolt circle. That's the diameter that the circles lie on, and that's 2.5 inches. If I right click on that, I can turn it into a construction circle. So again, a construction circle, it's functional as long as you're in your sketch mode, and after that it really kind of ceases to exist. It's just a drawing aid. Also, we're going to put a horizontal construction line that I'm going to use. Right click, construction line. Oops, I don't think I got it. Right click. It should become a dashed line. They're kind of hard to see. There we go. Construction line to dimension our location of our holes, because we don't just want to randomly put them on the circle. We want to control where they are. And I'm going to lock that down so that line can't move again, because I'm going to dimension to it. And now I'll start with draw. Oh no, sorry, I got another construction line. So I've got that horizontal one, and I've got one on an angle here. It's also going to be a construction line. I do want to dimension this angle. So I know that the angle between pairs of holes is 60 degrees. So I'm going to do 30 degrees here, because my first hole will be 30 degrees up. The next one would be 30 degrees down, and that's the notation, the orientation that you see. And the problem, let me just, this dimension's kind of in the way. Not cooperating. There we go. Okay, get that out of the way. All right, so now I'm going to draw my first hole right there. Now, if you put your cursor on the construction circle and a construction line, then the software will find that point for you. You just have to be a little bit careful. And that's 1/2 inch diameter hole. And we're good to go. Now, if those weren't construction lines, there'd be a problem when you go to do your extrusion. Those are going to interfere with the selection of the hole, but because they're construction lines, they're not going to affect that. And let's finish that. I will do an extrude. I'm going to do a cut. Put that all the way through the part. So now I've got one hole in the part. And now I'm going to use a circular pattern tool. So that's up here, circular pattern. And two things you have to select. One is the feature. Now when you do this, because you want the hole, don't just click on the edge of the hole. Make sure you actually see the depth of the hole there, and that's what I want. And then come over here to the rotation axis and choose a hole that will give you, choose something in the center of the part. So in this case, I can just choose that hole, and you can see it's putting what the default or whatever happened to use the last time. So you can change the numbers here. That's how many holes you're going to get, and it shows up over here in your part tree. If you want to right click, edit the feature, you can easily change this number to anything. Right click, edit feature, and what we want to have is 6 of those, and they're evenly spaced on a 360 degree. Say OK. So now I've got my holes in there, and you can see those construction lines have gone away. Let's go ahead and save this. And let's go to our drawing now and see what happened. You can see that the drawing updated. Now I have the holes in there, but now I want to locate those holes. Oops, let's see. So pull this thing out of the way. You don't want to dimension holes linearly. You want to dimension them using that circular pattern. So what we'll do is, there's a special tool here. It's this button up here. And you can see it says a centered pattern. So don't use our typical, don't use those center marks. When you use those kind of, if you use that kind of center mark, it's going to be oriented horizontally and vertically. You want to have it oriented about the center. So first thing you do is click on the hole that's in the middle, and then just start clicking on the subsequent holes, and you can see it'll put the center marks, and it'll create the bolt circle line, sort of like your construction circle. Click on your last hole, right click, and say create, and that's how you do that. Again, that's using that tool right there of centered pattern. I'm going to hit escape because I'm done with that. And now what you're going to want to do is dimension to that. So you can dimension that. That's called the bolt circle. And then also, of course, we'll dimension the holes. Click on that, put your cursor at the front, put the diameter symbol. Oh, and we're also going to want to put 6x. Too many diameter symbols. There we go. It already had a diameter symbol on it. So 6x diameter 0.5. That's proper notation. Over here, what you would do is go ahead and add those center marks now. Center lines. They're not going to show. They're not broken because they're so short. We can leave it just as is. And that actually is everything for that pulley on page 1434 out of your book.